And when the newer hymn books started coming out in the mid-'70s and then the '80s and then into the '90s, some of the great old tunes had their words changed. They were updated so that they'd use more inclusive language. Not a bad thing. But I was so used to singing them the other way, I kept tripping over my tongue every time we'd get to a place where it might mention normally God the Father, and all of a sudden it said Creator, and I'd be going, God the Creator. And it frustrated me for a long time. I couldn't get my head around, nor my tongue around, the new updated versions. And some wise person said to me, Mark, don't worry about the words. The question is, are you singing from your heart? Are you singing from the heart? It seems to me that's what the Apostle Paul was asking us to do. With gratitude in your heart, sing songs and psalms and hymns to God. In Ephesians, he said, we ought to be making melody to the Lord in our hearts. Don't worry about your technique so much. Psalm 100 said, make a joyful noise unto the Lord, all the earth. It didn't say make a perfectly pitched tune in perfect harmony. And it didn't say make a joyful noise, only those who can sing. It said make a joyful noise, all the earth. A bit of a challenge for us here at Old Stone when we have this excellent choir. Sometime the temptation is, well, let's let them do it. That's not what the psalm says. Make a joyful noise, all the earth. Sing from your heart and sing it to God. Well, number 3. This can be a challenge to some. Okay, it says sing all. Sing all. Now, I have the best seat in the house, I think, because I not only get to look at this beautiful stained glass and hear this beautiful music, I get to look at all you beautiful people. And I have to admit, when we're singing our hymns, sometimes I see some people singing joyfully, and other times I see people just sort of standing there. Sometimes I see people don't even crack the hymn book. But it says sing all. Make a joyful noise to the Lord, all the earth. Not just those with great voices. Not just those who took music classes. I was talking with one of our choir members before worship. I can't read music. I learned to sing by ear, so I do really appreciate having a choir to follow. And I grew up like some of you on those movies where they ask you to follow the bouncing ball. So when I look at hymns, what I see is a bouncing ball. And I do know when the little ball goes up, my voice is supposed to go up, and when it comes down, mine's supposed to come down. And when it's a ball with a stick on it and it's an empty ball, I know that's a half note. But that's about the extent of my music theory. But I do believe that the best way I can give my heart back to God is with the voice God has given me. And I've got this great choir, and so do you, to follow, so we all can sing along, sing all. Don't worry that you can't carry a tune in a bucket. Wesley says, see that you join, and this is a challenge too, see that you join with the congregation as frequently as you can. I'm glad he said it. Be here as often as you can. Let not a slight degree of weakness or weariness hinder you. If it is a cross to you, take it up and you will find it a blessing. That means even if you stayed up to watch the very end of Saturday Night Live the night before, you got to be here Sunday morning giving your best to God. It means even if you were traveling on the weekend and you got home really late Saturday and you were really wiped out from all that driving, you still have to be here on Sunday morning. Gather as often as you can, says Wesley. It also means if you're out of town, sorry, we couldn't be in worship Sunday. We were in Chicago. We were in Pittsburgh. Well, it means then you need to gather with a congregation in Chicago or gather with a congregation in Pittsburgh. Gather as often as you can. We don't belong just to the congregation of Old Stone Church. We belong to the worldwide universal congregation of Jesus Christ, Christians everywhere. No sleeping in. Got to be there. Number 4, and I love this one. Sing lustily, with good courage. Beware of singing as if you were half dead or half asleep. But lift up your voice with strength. Be no more afraid of your voice now, nor more ashamed of its being heard than when you sung the songs of Satan. Yikes. You got to sing it with chutzpah. Now, I've been in Cleveland now for a little over a year, and I feel particularly blessed, not by just by the Old Stone Church, but because I have been able to go and watch every pro sports team that Cleveland has. Got to go see the Indians a number of times. They even won once or twice. Thanks to Tony Carlos, I got to go see my first Browns game a couple weeks ago, opening game. Somebody said, "Mark, how'd you enjoy your first Browns game?" I said, "I feel like a real Clevelander now. I've experienced the agony of defeat." Actually, I said, "No, it was a beautiful day, and I saw some really great plays." And they said, "Yeah, unfortunately, those were the plays that the Minnesota Vikings were making." I've been to the Cavs during the quarterfinals last year and got to see them win a game. And I love going to see the Lake Erie Monsters, the hockey team. And you know what's interesting to me? When I see all y'all and everyone else at these pro games, I see people really singing out. I see people on their feet singing. Now, I don't think I've got it down yet, but you know, I always see you at all the games, I see you do this, O-H-I-O, Ohio. Yeah, it's the Buckeyes thing, and it doesn't matter whether you're at the football game or the basketball game or everybody's doing it, or they're doing "Hang On, Sloopy, Sloopy, hang on." And if you're ever at a baseball game with Jane Zabrowski, you're going to see something beautiful, because not only is she up singing, she's got this move. If the Indians make a great play or they get a home run, look out. She got this. She had a whole loge of us doing this one day. And I go to the hockey games, and whenever the Monsters are ahead and the opposing team is falling behind, you know what we sing? Na, 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 hey, 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 goodbye. And you know what? Then we come to church Sunday morning. Joyful, joyful. Well, we sang out because the hockey team got a goal. We sang out because the baseball team hit a run. My goodness, we are in the presence of God who's given us life and given it to us in abundance through Jesus Christ. We ought to be singing out with at least as much energy and passion as we give the Browns, or we give the Indians, or we give the Cavaliers, or we give the Monsters. Amen. Be no more afraid of your voice now, nor more ashamed of its being heard than when you sung the songs of Satan, says Wesley at the Browns game 2 weeks ago. At the same time, number 4, he says, sing modestly. I love his language. Do not bawl so as to be heard above or distinct from the rest of the congregation, that you may not destroy the harmony. But strive to unite your voices together so as to make one clear, melodious sound. The idea isn't to stand out. It's not to be the superstar. It's not to be the person in the congregation who sings so well and so loudly that we put a big banner on the side of our church and your picture's on it and it says, "We are all witnesses." That's not the point. The point in singing in worship is that we bring our voices together and make one sound, unless it's a solo. The point is we come together and bring our voices together in what's called symphonesis. Now, to help you get your head around what symphonesis is, let me talk to you about my daughter for a second. Some of you got to meet my daughter, the cellist. She played in a number of youth orchestras in Savannah and Hilton Head. She played in her high school orchestra. And it always amazed me that she and all these other kids, musicians particularly, who had so much drama in their lives, and they lived to a different beat, a beat of a different drummer. Their minds and their psyche was set to a different clock, so parents were always on their case saying, come on, you got to get going.